All right, back here with Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks so much for joining us, and we are so excited to have on the air with us right now. It is Fuslie, aka Leslie. Hello.
Hi. Can you hear
Hi.
me?
I can indeed. Thanks so much for hopping on. Do you prefer that I call you Fuslie or Leslie?
Leslie's good.
Okay, Leslie's okay. All right, we'll
Oh,
go with
did I
Leslie.
miss? Oh, yeah, Leslie Fu. That's good.
And there it is, right there. So we've got it on screen. Okay,
Did I
so
do that?
oh, it looks like maybe your camera dropped
Oh,
on
I
there.
pressed
So
the space bar. My bad, or something.
all right, and boom, we're back. See, but there it is. So it all worked out.
I know
Well,
I did.
well, Leslie, thanks so much for being here. So I wanted to just start off. I've got a bunch of questions that your fans have been dropping in here that we're going to address too. But I had
Okay.
some things I wanted to ask just about how you got into this from the beginning. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but you have a bachelor's degree in biological sciences from UC
do.
Irvine.
I
You were
do.
in graduate school at UCLA,
Yes.
and then you dropped out to stream
Correct.
full time. What happened? How did you make that decision to be like, okay, I'm in graduate school, a really hard school to get into. Screw that. I'm gonna go stream on Twitch.
Right. So, after I got my degree in bio at UCI, I was pretty set on, or right when I was finishing my degree in bio, I was really set on becoming a vet, or I was pre-med. I went on this whole journey, but I wanted to become a vet, and I had done like 3,000 hours in animal hospitals and all this stuff. And I kind of was having this, I was like very conflicted near the very end of my college career because I remember going into my job at an animal hospital, and then the vet there told me, she's like, Leslie, are you sure you want to like be a vet? And I was like, yeah, of course, like that's my dream. And then she's like, I don't know, like I feel like your personality is like suited for something else. And it like really hit me like, whoa, okay. So that was something that I held with me, that I was like, if a vet of like 20 years is telling me that I shouldn't be a vet, then maybe I shouldn't be a vet.
Right.
Anyway, so then I like had this, like I was thinking about it a lot more, and I was in this program that had me working with students a lot, and I really really enjoyed it. And so I just like I just went home one day and I just decided, like, you know what, I don't think this path is for me. I'm going to go into teaching. So last minute I switched into like an education field. This is my last quarter of UCI, and I switched into teaching. And then from there, I was like, great, I have to take a year off now because I have to catch up on all this work that I didn't do in my undergrad because I was busy doing this other path. So then I graduate college and I'm like tutoring, I'm teaching, I'm doing a bunch of stuff. And that's when I applied for graduate school, and I got into UCLA. But at this time when I got into UCLA, I also started streaming. I lived with three guys who all played League of Legends a bunch, and because I wanted to like hang out with the guys, like I didn't want to be like, at first I was kind of just like left out, but then I was like, you know what, I could play this game too. If that's what they want to do, then I'm gonna download it. So I did. I downloaded League. I started playing a ton of it. I got hooked on it. It was the first game I really, really got into. I've never felt like such an addiction. I would stay up till 8 a.m. playing this game. And then one day, my roommate Alex, he would watch a bunch of streamers. He specifically a streamer named Becca, and he always had her on. And I was like, oh, like what's this thing he's doing? But I didn't really like look too much into it. But he then told me, like, Leslie, you know, you should try streaming. And then from there, I tried streaming. I one day, like all my roommates left, and I was all alone. And then I felt this like urge to do something exciting, and so I just typed in twitch.tv, and then I started streaming, and then I started to love it. It's a big journey of like 6 months of loving it, but I was so conflicted because I was supposed to go to graduate school, and right before I started grad school, I got partnered on Twitch, and then pretty much I ended up dropping out because I got into a car accident like on the way to school. Like my second week of school, I like was driving and like I crashed into the car in front of me like an idiot. And then I felt like, you know what? This is a sign that I should go to school and that I should stream. And I really thought about it. I talked to my mom and I was like, I'm gonna get a job in esports. I don't, maybe not streaming, but because that's like not stable, but I'm gonna try something else. I would, there was like a 2-week period where I would wake up at 6 a.m., go to a school and basically do like be like a TA and like help out and like teach classes, come back, eat lunch, stream for like an hour or two, go back to grad school, come back, stream, and then sleep. And I just felt like my worlds were like not lining up. Like this just didn't feel right to go to school. Like it was just completely conflicting.
It's like
And
you
I
have a
was
secret
enjoying
life that you're trying to like, yeah,
exactly.
hustle live.
Sorry. And nobody understood my streaming thing at grad school. Like nobody understood it. So I felt like I had this, yes, basically a double life. And I way preferred the streaming one, like by so much. So I said, you know what, this isn't like conventional. And, maybe my mom and dad are going to be like, what are you doing? But I'm going to go for it because yeah, and I did. And then I never looked back.
Well, it clearly paid off. You obviously made the right choice on this. I mean, judging
Thanks.
by where you're at now. Well, let's talk about the games in general. So you start off League of Legends. You said that was kind of your favorite, like that you fell in love with. But then what have you progressed through since then? Like, what do you look for in games that you want to play? Let's go down the gaming side itself.
So League seemed to be like the only. Is that me? Is that a lawnmower on my side? Can you hear it?
I know there's not a lawnmower in here because we're like 10 floors up, but.
Sorry about the lawnmower.
I can't really hear anything, so I think you're fine.
So let me think. League was like the only game that I thought I would ever love. I was like, I followed everything about the game, the pro scene, the stream. That's how I started following like other streamers. It's because like they were League streamers, and that's all I really cared about. Somewhere that there were other games out there, but I kind of viewed them as like those streamers, and we're the League streamers. Like all my friends are League streamers. Everyone I met was from the League community, and it seemed like such a nice place to be. I know I just started. I branched out. The first game I was like, you know what, I'm gonna dabble in this one. It was Counter-Strike, and it was completely different. But I realized that there were other really good games out there, pretty much. And yeah, so I think Counter-Strike was that first like taste of a different game for me. And I really loved that. And then that introduced me to shooters. I wasn't great at them, of course, but I was never great at League either. So I just really loved it. I was like, oh, I felt so cool playing Counter-Strike. Like I'm playing with like, I don't know. It just felt cool to play Counter-Strike. So I played a lot of that one. I put in so many hours into Counter-Strike, watching videos, how to get better. And I was okay at one point. Like I got there somewhere up in the ranks, not like super high or anything, but definitely I felt like I could play I understood the game.
Yeah.
And then from there H1Z1 I think came around, and H1Z1 was the first battle royale game I ever touched. And I heard like the idea was like King of the Hill, last one standing. And I thought that was such a cool idea. I was like, wait, I like talked to my boyfriend and I was like, Edison, there's this really cool game. Basically, you try to be like the last one standing. It's like the Hunger Games, but in a game. And then he's like, whoa.
So you don't actually have to kill anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You could just like do it in the game. And so then H1Z1, I started getting hooked on that, played H1Z1 so much. And then came PUBG, and then I fell in love with that game. And then from there, I think sprinkled throughout all of those games were like PS4 games, like The Last of Us and Detroit. I'm trying to think. There's so many good single player games I like dabbled in. Like I tried Kingdom Hearts, I tried God of War, I tried a few other of the games, but the ones I listed were like the big ones I like would play like all the time.
Yeah.
For a while.
Well, so I mean, you kind of figured out the ones that you liked, and then, it's being noted in here. Detroit, you played Detroit,
Yes.
Becoming Human. I'm seeing some questions that are coming through, and I want to make sure that we get some of these here. So,
Yes.
Joe PA, one of your fans, says at Digital Trends, "What is a typical week like for a Twitch streamer like yourself?" So, what do you do on a normal daily basis?
Yeah, typical week. Okay, so I have a schedule. I use this app called Asana that schedules like my life, but pretty much every day I wake up and the first thing I do is I tackle like email. So yeah, there's like a few things that go on behind the scenes. Everyone knows what I'm doing when I'm streaming. The streaming thing takes place from like 5 or 6 p.m. PST up until like night, like 12 a.m. So that's obvious what I'm doing at that time. But before I stream, people are like, what is she doing? Like, I'm not just like dilly-dallying around all day. I have a manager. Her name is Hannah. She basically is in charge of getting me like any sponsored deals. And so in that time, there's a bunch of things I could be doing. It's like you could take pictures for social media, Instagram, all that stuff. I'm really bad at that. So recently haven't been doing that at all. What I'm doing usually is, well, I cook. I make breakfast in the morning. I take a walk around my area, and sometimes I go walk to get like lunch or breakfast. And then I'm usually planning something. So I spend like a good chunk of my day planning what my stream is going to be on later in the day. If you watch my content, anyone who like is familiar with my content will know that I have absolutely no one knows what I'm going to be doing these days. Like there's not a game that like, it's like, oh yeah, Leslie's going to be playing Pokemon this whole, like I played Pokemon, I played Smash, I played all these games, right? But I'm never like, I don't have like a set schedule of what I'm going to be doing. I do a lot of IRL, or like I have like this streaming backpack that I go out on with my boyfriend, and sometimes we go to Disneyland, sometimes we go to like a farmer's market. Usually every week we go to this farmer's market. It's just like, you never know exactly. So a lot of my time off stream is like, what am I going to be doing for the next month? Or, so it's kind of up in the air. So yeah, emails, food, and responding to messages. I know the chat's going to be like, hi, she doesn't respond to messages, but I do respond to messages. Okay. Important ones.
Sometimes it takes a while. It takes a while to get to all the emails.
Yeah, there are emails. Hannah's like, there's contracts to sign. If I'm like, for example, well, not like setting up an interview like this, right? That would be something right. Hannah's like, okay, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. And then later today I have like a video shoot with another sponsor. And so details for this, just like, they just come and go. Like there's just a bunch of different opportunities. So it's never the same day that I'm having, because events will come and go, but I'm always usually prepping for those.
Sounds crazy. I mean, like every day it's completely something different. And like you said, I want to get into that content side of it too, because you do, it's not just gaming. Like you have a lot of that RIL content as well. I do see this though, a question before we even get into that, and this is from, I'm probably saying it wrong, Joga Bogi, says, my question for Fuslie is how she thinks her content has changed over the years and what she wishes she knew when she was first starting out. So, I mean, clearly the content's changed, but from a personal level, I guess, what would you go back and tell yourself in the beginning?
Whoa. Okay, so my content has completely changed since I first started. I think right now I'm the happiest I've ever been with my content. I think through gaming and all that stuff, I had a really good run. And I mean, not that gaming is done. It's more of like, I started, right? Like, the question was, how it has changed. First, it was just like all League of Legends. I would literally just start streaming and be like, hey guys. And then immediately just like league, 6 hours, like boom, boom, boom. And I was just like playing League and only League. And I just talk about the champion updates, the patch notes, whatever, all I was doing. And so people who found me then were like, Leslie is the League streamer. And so that alone is like pretty big. But the biggest change for me is like the shift in community. I think my number one priority right now is my community and the relationship that I have with Twitch chat. I've never quite had, I never thought that Twitch would ever become that for me. Like where I actually like, the Twitch chat, that they're like the reason I stream, because it feels like we have like this back and forth, like friendship almost. We're just like, maybe I don't know all their names or all of their, like what all of them are like in person, but like, because I go stream every single day and then they're like there for me. And I'm, I feel like we just, I don't know, it's basically the shift in community that I got to experience. I didn't have that 3 years ago. It slowly developed over time. It took a lot of time. And back then it was the gaming was the focus. And now it's I feel like I can do whatever, but the community is the focus.
I think that's a really good point, because I'm looking at your community right now, just to see, Very Good, Brother or Man, Jazz Cash, just naming some names that I'm seeing on here, just to remind you, we are live while we're broadcasting this for everybody out there. There were people questioning it. But how, with that kind of community that you've developed, what is it like going out to events? Like, do you go to a lot of events? Do you plan on going to more events? How does that work for you?
So I go to every event that, so I used to go to League of Legends events. Those were like the events for me, like Worlds, this, like everything was League focused. But now the events I go to are, the big ones are TwitchCon. That's like the event of the whole year. And then throughout the year, I try to do a few meetups. I'm planning one pretty soon, actually. I actually haven't even told my community yet, but maybe you will be in like less than a week.
There's a little inside scoop right there that you just got.
Exactly. Inside scoop. Yeah. So pretty much the meetups I get to do now are at, I go to events like E3 or like KCON or something like that. And people will just bump into me there and like here and there. And then, but yeah, when I do get to go to meetups, it's incredible. It's like the most surreal thing to have like people jump out of their computer screens and be like, like it's me. Like they'll say like they'll say their name and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I've seen you in my chat every day for like a year, and right. Now you're here in the flesh and everything I say, like I don't have to explain myself. That's kind of like this feeling like they know who I am already because they've seen me talking for a year right. now.
Yeah, you're part of their lives every day.
Correct. So that's like the weirdest thing is like you meet somebody in person, but they already know your quirks. They've seen you even cry. They've seen you they know your like they met my mom. They met so they know that about me. So at first it was really strange because I'm like, this person knows so much about me, but I'm meeting them for the first time, and so it's like this strange dynamic. But now I'm much more used to that when I see them. It just, yeah.
Okay, I have to ask something along those lines. So you go out to these events and you're meeting people in real life, you're meeting them in person. I'm going to guess you probably get some gifts every now and then?
Get like in real life gifts?
Yeah, in real life gifts?
Yes.
What's the weirdest gift you've ever gotten? That you feel like talking about?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I've never gotten any weird gifts. I know not the weird ones. But I've gotten like really the weirdest one I've gotten was a bed.
A bed?
A mattress. Like a mattress. Yeah.
Like had it shipped to you or brought it to the event?
Yeah, it was just like shipped to me, but it was a bed. And I was like,
I
mean, it's a really comfortable bed that my old roommate Box now uses. So the bed has gotten really good use. But it is a bed. Yeah. At first I was like, why a bed? But there's a whole story with that one, but pretty much it's bed. And that person also got me a chair. So, and Jamie, my other old roommate, has that chair now. So
nice. So everybody got
to good use. They've been passed down.
Perfect. Well, and I want to say thank you too so much for hopping in here today. And I know, like we said, you've got a busy schedule. Just final question here, really, that I want to bring up is where do you see it going? Your stream going long term? Like, now you've got this more in real life stuff. It's not just gaming. It's this variety. Do you have a plan on where it's heading, or what can people expect like coming up?
Okay, well, this is a tricky question. I was actually just talking to my boyfriend yesterday about it because we have this thought all the time, like, what's the next step for us? Where are we going after this? And I think the answer is that we don't exactly know. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. My goal, I would love to say that I'm in 2023, I'm still streaming. And because I can't really imagine my life without streaming, I don't see it like, I see, I try to take life one step at a time. That's like, just because then I get overwhelmed with the possibilities. Like, am I getting married? Am I going to have kids by then? Like, so if I have kids, will I stream my baby? And like, is this weird? Like, do people not want to like watch me anymore once I have a kid? Like, I have these weird thoughts and I'm like, So I try to just like take things one step at a time. But I think that in the near future, I will be streaming. I have no plans to stop. A couple years ago, you asked me, I'd be like, nope, I'm done streaming. 2 more years is all I got in me. In 2016, I was like, looking for my way out of streaming. I was like, yeah, I'm going to quit soon and I'm going to try to get a job at Twitch. I actually like wanted to work from behind the scenes because I thought streaming was too stressful on me. And I felt like just so like, it's very competitive and very like, Twitch is like, it can get like, it can get to you. And sometimes you feel like you're not good enough. And I think that back then in 2016, I was dealing with like hate and I was dealing with just like some like people trying to like DDoS me or just bring me down all the time. And that I was letting that side get to me rather than like and I think it was also going through a point where my community was like, I was letting the hate get to me. So I wasn't putting out good vibes as much. And so my community was like shaken a bit. So I was I was like not feeling any of it. I was like, I go online to all this hate and I'm ready to quit. I can't do it. But now, even if like my community is at a really good spot right now, but even when it'll hit a down, which I'm sure it will, I mean, I hope it doesn't, but it's just natural that people come and go. I think it's still something like I've learned a lot and I want to keep pushing this, and I just can't imagine my life without streaming. So yeah, but I think my plans are just I always want to be in this industry. So even if streaming is something that fizzles out later, I would love to work from behind the scenes, maybe streamer management, or like use the stuff I've learned, because I've learned so much about business and just this whole industry from streaming. So I would love to use the knowledge I have now to provide something and do work in the industry later.
That's fantastic. Well, going from a vet student to where you are now, I can only imagine, where you're going to be going forward from here. And I want to say thanks so much for hopping on to Digital Trends Live today. Like we really, really appreciate it. Hello to your community who hopped in here, and thank you so much, Leslie, for joining Digital Trends Live.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ed. Everybody follow Leslie at Fuslie. All right. Thanks, Leslie.
Okay.
Bye.